In general, there's one ideology Twitter absolutely loves to push, and it's this brain-dead idea that people can't change. Meanwhile, they'll be pushing for change themselves. The irony of not believing in change in people and then pushing for change will never fail to entertain me. How exactly do you expect the world to change if you don't allow anyone or anything to change for the better, but instead turn to trying to cancel people, which is exactly what PlayStation fanboys have done to both the Act Man and FritangaPlays. For the entirety of yesterday, these people were trying to cancel both of them for 5-year-old tweets, all of which were morally wrong and no one should be defending them. And I want to make it abundantly clear, I am not defending what they said in those tweets. What I am doing is using the 2 brain cells I have left to realize that half a fucking decade is a hell of a long time, and that over the course of time people can change. It's not as if the Act Man has shown he hasn't changed. In fact, the complete opposite has occurred. All of this happened because he made fun of both PlayStation and Xbox fanboys in a video, but because these Sony ponies didn't have any rebuttals, they decided to weaponize racism, homophobia, sexism, and the list goes on in order to try and cancel him, simply due to him featuring them in a video. Do not for a second believe any of these dumbasses are being genuine when calling out the Act Man, since as you'll see throughout this video, a hell of a lot of these fanboys calling him out have also said discriminatory stuff, but instead of those being 5 years ago, they were merely around a week ago. So without further delay, we'll get into the initial cancelling of the Act Man plus FritangaPlays, and then the reaction to his response. Console wars bad, homophobia and racism good. You know, this kind of looks like your tweet here. People saying that Nier has a good story, but that in the end we are the real monsters cliche is so vague. Japanese people can't write good stories and that's a fact. It seems like you among plenty of other people have no room to speak about someone making racist tweets half a decade ago, considering the fact this undeniably racist tweet of yours is from this year. You don't care about the past racism. All you are doing is merely weaponizing it for a truly pathetic console war. And are you really trying to take the moral high ground with tweets like that, and the one where you make fun of Fritanga for his dad dying in existence? Because I sure as hell don't think you have any room to be taking the moral high ground here. At Xbox P3, why do I keep seeing Xbox support these types of people with free merch, games, consoles? How do you support this type of sick behavior? This is the perfect example of people showing they do not actually give a shit about what the Act Man previously said, but instead want to weaponize it for some absolutely pathetic console war they are desperately clinging on to get any sense of attention. This situation not only is entirely brain dead, but also has nothing to do with Phil Spencer nor Xbox. This situation is to do with console fanboys and their insane idiocy, which you guys have funnily enough proven without a shadow of a doubt to be true. At Xbox, you gave this man an Xbox for free. You should be ashamed of yourself because you offended millions of people with acts like this. As a lifelong Xbox fan, I am disappointed that they're endorsing and enabling racist, homophobic and predatory influencers like the Act Man. Safe to say I will be selling off my Xbox consoles immediately. Ah yes, the lifelong Xbox fan with a God of War profile picture. In and of itself, that isn't always a good indicator of someone being a console fanboy. However, it almost always is, and in this case it certainly is. The fact people will stoop so low to the point of quite literally weaponizing racism in order to push some stupid fucking console war is insane to me. This has nothing to do with Xbox. Rest in peace to your dad. Maybe one day he will be proud of you. That ain't today though, when you freely admit you are still a racist. Get help. Do I even need to say why this is so insanely fucked up? Nowhere in the tweets or Discord messages you put up does it show him saying he is a racist, nor does any of this make it morally okay to use his recently deceased father as a weapon. The only person here who needs help is certainly yourself. This man, the Act Man, decided to attack black content creators on Black History Month for a reason. Now we know why. Of course, J-Dub is here ready to make his 2000th brain dead tweet. The Act Man was not specifically attacking black content creators during Black History Month. All he was doing was mocking a multitude of fanboys and never once brought race into it. The fact that you are digging back up 5-year-old tweets and then dishonestly claiming them to be made during this Black History Month is astoundingly disgusting. The majority of the Act Man's video wasn't even responding to anyone with their race publicly shown. It is truly impressive how desperately these fanboys cling on to ancient tweets in terms of the internet in order to try and cancel someone simply because they called out their bullshit. Out of all of the PlayStation PlayStation fanboys in existence, there are a hell of a lot of them who in no scenario should be taking the moral high ground. This guy is definitely one of those. After all, he did use the death of Bethesda's CEO as console war fuel. Racist, homophobic, transphobic, suicide instigator, but you got ratioed by the God of War dev. Fuck you, Act Man.
Down here, salt is a way of life.
Obviously, the environment down here is all salt. The ceiling's salt, the floor is salt, the walls are salt, and to an extent, the air is salt. And you breathe that in, and you can constantly taste the salt.
Well shit, what do we have here? This you? Yeah, that's me when I still didn't know the gravity, meaning and history behind certain words in English. But yeah, that doesn't look good. Shame on me for it. Oh, I get it. So it's okay for you to have said it in the past because you moved on and improved. But it's not okay for the Ant Man to do the same thing? Correct me if I'm wrong in the comment section below, but something here isn't adding up. I don't care if you are Italian, no matter what your native tongue is, most people will know the gravity of the M-word unless you are a child, which you were not. The excuse of, oh, I didn't know about the history of the word doesn't make any sense. Are you seriously trying to tell me that Italian media has no showings of people being racist using the M-word within them? I'm going to call bullshit on that. This rules for thee but not for me mentality is incredibly immature and foolish to say the very least. It's either you are a racist piece of shit like you claim the Ant-Man was, or you are both people who have made mistakes but decided to change for the better. Did you just defend racism just to own the ponies? Haha. What a pathetic piece of shit. At this point, I think you can all see where this is going. This you. Nah bro, the problem is that they are black. I can't identify myself with such things.
Not only did you do that, they got your ass on camera.
Niggas ain't got me on no fucking camera.
This is the clearest video I've ever seen. This is the most HD shit ever. This is 4K. How did they get you in 4K?
That ain't me.
I mean, this shit just writes itself. Like, come on, if you're going to call people out for past tweets at the very least, make sure you haven't made any racist tweets in the last week, my guy. It ain't fucking hard. These are the people calling Ant Man racist, lol. As they should be, just as they did with you after you said some racist madness. Birds of the same flock together, yawn emoji. The fuck do you mean as they should? Did your dumbass not read the tweets Frit showed? I mean, no one would be surprised if you didn't, but come on. You're literally defending racism because they called out a different form of racism, and because they like the same plastic box as you.
It can't be stopped. It's self-sustaining now.
Now, if you guys want to read the Ant-Man's response, then pause the video and go right ahead, and I'll leave both of the essay responses, which in all honesty do hit the nail on the head perfectly, up on screen for a little while so you can pause and read them. I think his response is absolutely spot on, and I couldn't agree more. Bringing up past tweets that someone has already addressed to try and cancel them, simply over the fact they mocked you for being the idiots you are, is completely pathetic, and although the Ant-Man didn't say this himself, I personally do think that it only causes more racism. Part of the reason as to why racism seems to be a growing issue is, from what I've seen, the fact that a huge amount of people refuse to simply allow people to change. If you don't give someone the chance to reform, then how on earth do you expect the world to rid itself of racism? All it does is push more people into having those disgusting ideologies. But with my take on that out of the way, why don't we take a look at some of the fanboys crying over his genuinely great response. You apologize for being a cringy edgelord. No apologize for being a racist. You write this entire biblical documentary chastising others instead of taking responsibility. Imagine being called out for your goofy behavior, only for you to turn it around on others. The privilege. Fucking hell, these people are stupid. Him apologizing for being a cringy edgelord in the past is him apologizing for his racist remarks in the past. What the fuck else did you think that was referring to exactly? I swear he could literally directly say, I am sorry for making racist remarks half a decade ago, and this guy would still ask him to apologize for making racist remarks in the past. So 5 years ago I killed a person, but it doesn't matter anymore because I've grown since then and learned my mistakes. I will never attempt attempt to kill a living being again. I killed him because console fanboys pushed me to. You see, it's their fault, not mine. I did nothing wrong. Fuck people for going back in time to find me guilty of things I actually did. But they were so long in the past that who cares anymore? Only fanboys, like I proved in my own video I made, which definitely wasn't biased, and it spoke the perfect truth of the situation.
Mr. Madison, what you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard. At no point in your rambling, incoherent response were you even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought. Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it. I award you no points, and may God have mercy on your soul.
Jesus Christ, that was beyond a brain-dead response. It is the prime example of a false equivalency. Murdering someone in the past is not equivalent to saying something racist in the past, no matter if they use slurs or not. Taking a life is not equivalent to saying a disgusting word. Not only that, nowhere in his response did he ever claim or hint that fanboys quote-unquote pushed him to tweet those immoral things. He merely said that bringing up his obviously non-virtuous past in order to attack him today, when he has already addressed those tweets because he made fun of PlayStation fanboys, is not only ludicrous but also directly proves everything he said in his video, which is 100% true. He may have made those tweets, however you are weaponizing racism, sexism and so on in order to push some stupid console war narrative that every single sane individual on this planet can see is fueled by delusion. I mean, for fuck's sake, you can even make a good parody. One of the easiest ways to poke fun at people. Yeah, let's blame the console wars for everything. Easy scapegoat, am I right? This is probably the first apology I have read where the person is just attacking the accusers instead. He's talking 90% about ponies here in what was supposed to be his apology. This ain't an apology. One thing I will never understand is this obsessive desire for an apology from people. What the fuck does an apology actually achieve? He still said the horrible things he said. I can't count the number of YouTubers who have made fake apology videos. Actions speak far louder than words, and the Act Man's actions recently do not at all reflect his actions back in 2017. Also, he literally apologized in that response. He did exactly what you wanted, but because he responded and completely destroyed the arguments ponies used at the same time, you aren't pleased. I mean, let's be real, this person sure as hell will never be pleased. Nowhere did he blame the console wars for what he did. Those tweets are quite literally half a decade old. They had nothing to do with the console wars until PlayStation 5 fanboys brought them back up so that they could weaponize them. Nah, don't try to bury the stuff you said by saying, oh, these people are toxic too. You got caught with your pants down and now are making threats because you got exposed. Fuck right off, chief. How did he get caught with his pants down exactly? Console fanboys merely resurfaced tweets which most people already knew about for years. He didn't at all get exposed. People just brought irrelevant tweets into the situation in a desperate attempt to cancel him because he's a big name creator who called them out. And he is absolutely correct. Half of the people calling him out are people who have done equally bad or even worse things than he did in those 5-year-old tweets. You're acting as if those tweets reflect the modern version of Act Man when they very clearly do not. Out of nothing but pure desperation. Now I am personally on the verge of going into a 9-month-long coma due to how many brain cells I have lost throughout the making of this video, which means we have finally come to the end of my video, because frankly I cannot be asked to read and respond to the hundreds of other fanboy tweets to do with this situation. So with all that being said, please do not forget to do all the things YouTubers love to beg you to do, aka check out my Discord server, follow me on Twitter, as well as like, comment and subscribe, so that I will see you all in the next video.